who's a senior at Valor International Scholars. Before I begin my speech, let me ask you a question. What is the true purpose of education? What is the true purpose of life and learning? What is the ideal form of education and the best way or the most effective way of attaining knowledge? I want you guys to think about a young kid. He's struggling with his unending cycle of studying, doing extracurriculars after school, and trying to think what would be beneficial or obtainable from this infinite cycle of wasting time. Since he seems like a person who works hard and is influential, most people might think of someone like Bill Gates, or someone who works hard and is diligent all the time. But actually, that was me. I was an ordinary kid who was going to a South Korean public school. And frankly speaking, I didn't really understand the true meaning of education and how it can be applied in my daily life. I was the kind of kid who was constantly curious and would question a lot. And I often wondered, would my present learning be beneficial later? Is this even necessary? My limited environment and the lack of experience were putting me down. And it pushed me further and further away from the realization of the real world and the societies that we're living in. There wasn't much change made in my life, or I should say that's gone with the flow. I thought that a normal life, just putting in effort, was just a way of life and the way people continue to live. And for me, no core values or dreams could have been found in an ordinary kid simply following what he should do. And now this leads to my next question. Has anyone here lived abroad or studied abroad? This might not be the right question that might be asked in an international school. However, personally, going abroad has changed my life. I learned that experience is something that you cannot get out of somebody else. And I want to clearly state that it's something that you gain by yourself based on what you have or think. It isn't something that can be earned with materialistic things or even money. Let's take Elon Musk as an example. He's very well known for his wealth. He has all the things that we can think of, but mainly the money. However, money itself cannot explain all of his journey and development towards great accomplishments. He's founded Tesla, PayPal, and SpaceX, which are well-known companies worldwide. And up to the point that he's in right now, he has learned and developed himself through challenges and overcomes that nobody has taught him. And by encountering his own form of education-like experience, he has built his life to the fullest. Just like how Elon Musk has gone through bigger challenges along his journey, I stumbled upon a big change in my life when I was 12. I believe I was 5th grade at that time. Pretty young, right? And I am telling you now that I was not fluent in English at all at the time. Although I wouldn't say my English level is perfect now either, I didn't have any experience of going abroad or going to school abroad at that time. I was just in the ordinary study cycle of a young kid, as I mentioned earlier. It was also my first time ever going to another place or country out of the limited boundary I used to put myself in. In addition, it was me and my brother. It was harder for me to be independent without my parents. It was also harder for me to adapt to the reality of different types of education and takeaways that come with it. I still remember the day I went to the Philippines for the first time, which was an alien world to me. And because I was just a kid, I was wholly dependent on my parents. At the time, when I was on the Philippines, it was just me and my brother doing a homestay in a missionary's house. I still remember crying because I missed my mom, even though my brother did not cry. And I still wonder to this day if it was because he was more mature than me. We weren't the only ones who lived in the homestay house. There were a few other kids that resided there as well. Everything was pretty good and going well before I started school. School was not a friendly place to me, but rather full of strangers. There was no one looking similar to me or talking the way I talk, and I started to isolate myself from them. That was just how I viewed the whole situation at first, and it was not easy. However, breaking my thoughts and barriers that I built, everyone was really kind to me. It still remains a good memory to this day. I am not saying that I want to go back to 12 years old, but it really was a great new experience that brings nostalgia. However, I was still not proficient in talking with them in English and had limited views of the outside world. This changed over time. Students' way of speech and the structure of the school curriculum were different from the world that I was limiting myself with. The students from the Philippines had more freedom to express their thoughts and kept their smiles all day. And even though the school was big, it was filled with joy. Back in Korean public school, my days were filled with only studying. However, in the Philippines, I learned how to interact with people, how to be independent, and also find joy in sports or activities that could build me up. Opening the eyes to the world at that age can be hard. However, through the educational experience that has been built inside me, through the struggles and action that I've taken, I found the joy of learning and the importance of experiential education from a global perspective. After an unforgettable experience that I've been dreaming of, years have passed. I came back to Korea, went to public school for 2 years as a middle school student, living the same life as I was. But once again, I stumbled upon the repeated cycle of wasting time. I was going out at 7 a.m. and coming back home at 10 p.m. as a 7th grade student, and did not feel like gaining something out of it. The only change was that I kept playing basketball over the weekends. It was one of the only things that I've enjoyed learning and developing myself with. Even after that, I went to an international school in my freshman year of high school, just to get better and broaden my horizons over the world, to seek the dream that I wanted. It was helpful, but not the worldly perspective that I wanted. As I was heading to my sophomore year, I was seeking a world of dreams. In my head, it was a place where I could have different experiences. In regards to this thinking, the United States has been my dreamland since I was young. Just look at all the famous movies that I watched growing up, like The School of Rock. The lifestyle filled with freedom and exploration through music was the environment that I wanted to develop myself in. And just like I had always dreamed, I had a chance to go to the States in my sophomore year. It was unexpected, but with the support from my parents, I was able to go and further enhance my educational and worldly perspective process that has been built based on experiences. America was still a foreign environment that I had never been to, but my experience in the Philippines helped me throughout this new chapter. I am more grown up now, knowing what I do and what I look forward to. But reality did not meet the expectations that I had previously. I was a foreigner and a new-looking guy, and I felt isolated once again at this small private school in the United States. But just when I was starting to adapt, I studied a new chapter at a bigger private school in the States. The educational system there was pretty much different than other parts of the globe that I've been to. It was more independent, experience-based, and it also involved everyone actively participating and learning. Diversity was also one of the aspects that I learned as I was attending the schools. Limiting myself, not shaping me, but rather it was reducing my potential. There are changes or transformations in the lives of people every day. Expanding your thoughts and stepping out of your comfort zone is something that you can change. It is also you who can make your environment and experience better. The education system and lectures that schools offer are important, but experience is what I've learned to be valuable. The lessons that I've learned are priceless and applicable to my life up to this day. Maybe someone in the audience listening to this speech right now feel the same way and think, oh, I was also limiting myself in my new experiences. Or there might be someone who wants to dream bigger and study abroad, but due to different circumstances, can't. Education is not always something that you find in school or others, but rather discoverable on your own. Build experiences, broaden your horizons, and make yourself unlimited. Be the one who changes the world, not the one who's being changed. Thank you.